that the World Health Organization said. It's also been described as a state of homeostasis. That's the body naturally wanting to be in balance, which is a kind of a geeky 8th grade science word and a mouthful. So I say it is just balance and freedom, just balance and freedom. Right? Because with balance, everything that you're putting in your body, on your body, thoughts that you're thinking, air that you're breathing, all of that's information. Your body has to sort through all of that and hold on to what it needs to build you and then let go of what it doesn't need. And then you are free to then go do what it is that you were meant to do on this planet. The other thing that I want to get clear about is that health isn't just one piece of the pie. Health, in my opinion, is balanced in all of these categories called life. So oftentimes I'll have my patients fill this circle, this pie chart out and say, their health and fitness, they're, maybe a 3, their money and finances might be a 10, their personal growth and spirituality might be a 1. And it's like, if that's a wheel, it's going to be like, you can't really roll through life very well like that. So where do we build health in all of those categories? That girl cracks me up. Okay, so then how do you add health? So, guys, this slide, if you did everything on this slide, this is not only following nature's laws, you will live to 120. Okay? So, how do we add health? How do we add light to your life? Now, it's foods that you choose to eat. Notice it does not say diet. That is one of my least favorite words because diet sounds like die. It also sounds restrictive. It sounds impulsive. It sounds temporary. It sounds like you have to eat a microwaved meal and then count points or something, right? So, foods that we choose to eat, because a Twinkie and an apple both fit in your mouth, but both come out the other end in what point, form, or fashion. What are those foods doing to your body, right? And you are choosing to eat the Twinkie and or the apple. The way we move our body, notice it does not say exercise. Only for my brain, and maybe some of those in the room, exercise to me sounds like another to-do list. Like, I'm going to go exercise today. Instead of like, oh, I just need to go move my body. So when you're walking up the stairs to work, you could be like, up the stairs to work. Or you could like walk up the stairs to work, right? 2 different ways of moving your body. The coolest thing about our body is that we're meant to move. We're designed to move. Because we're made of like pulleys and levers and hinges and things, right? Cows, on the other hand, and I'll pick on cows here in a minute, cows not necessarily designed to move. They're designed to do what? Eat. Right. You don't see like frolicking in the pastures? Sometimes, but it's usually when something's chasing them, that's fine. Okay, then what we choose to drink. Now, ideally this is half your body weight in ounces of water a day, and what counts as water? Thank you. What did you? Oh, fizz, yes, that is the correct answer. Detox tea does too. Then how you breathe. Ideally, it's 100 conscious deep breaths a day. How you sleep. Ideally, 7.5 to 9.5 hours a night in total darkness. Why total darkness matters, very briefly. We have something sitting in the center of our brain called the pineal gland. The pineal gland is responsible for our circadian rhythm, which is really important to support because it supports hormones. And so when we are in the light, the pineal gland is stimulated by light, sending out daytime hormones, which we need during the day. And then at night, if we're stimulated by lights, like who sleeps with, televisions on or LED lights or computers are on or screens or whatever, you close your eyes, do you still see that? A little bit, so does the pineal gland. So nighttime hormones aren't able to come out. Specifically growth hormone. Growth hormone is one of the best repair hormones of the body because the number one thing that's sleeping at night is this guy, while this thing is repairing, restoring, and detoxing and rebuilding. And so we need that growth hormone to come out at night, so we have to be sleeping in the dark. I don't care if you guys get blackout curtains or eye pillows or whatever. Please, sleep hygiene is incredibly important and will add health. How we eliminate or detox physically and emotionally. Ideally, physically, it's 1 to 3 times a day for bowel movements. And then if you're drinking half your body weight in ounces of water a day, you will be eliminating. And then my favorite subject outside of food is play. Now, do you guys see this really from like play up, everything kind of just works together. Because if you're playing, you're most likely doing what? Moving. And if you're moving, you're most likely doing what? Breathing pretty hard. So then you're tired because you're sleeping, and then movement really helps the GI tract, and then you're hungry because you just moved. So again, like, did I eat food today? Did I move today? Did I drink today? It's like, you start with play, and I'm giving you permission to do that. My husband picks on me because he tells me that it's like living with a giant 5-year-old. If I am not having fun, I will change it, promise. And those of you who know me, will do that. So please play. And if you don't know what you liked to do to play, think about what you used to do when you were little. What you just naturally gravitated towards. When I was little, I did not play with Barbies. I played with Breyer horses and toy farms. And now what do I have? A really big version of that. Right? And that dawned on me one day. It wasn't like I was like making this farm like follow me through life and all of a sudden it grew up into this big thing. It was like all of a sudden I woke up one morning and went, oh my gosh, what have I done? I just built everything that I was obsessed with when I was little. Now, was it hard, challenging, heartbreaking, yeah, challenging to get there? Yes. And yet, I wake up every day going, this is so awesome! Right? And that's what I want you to do. I want you guys to wake up and feel that, at least about one thing in your life. Okay, so what we're going to do, and what I'm going to teach you is, and what Arbonne products help with, is this. Now, this is kind of a mumbo-jumbo, but, and forgive me because I'm really practicing explaining this to people so they really get it. What I do, like what my expertise is outside of food, is building people's internal resistance. We have this natural thing called internal resistance, and to the external stress, because does life happen at you guys every day? Right? And is there stress involved sometimes? So then, this internal resistance, and then what are we doing to build that? It's like, I was explaining to the ladies last night, it's like, if you imagine everything you do during the day is using gas. Like if your body is a vehicle, and you're driving 30,000 miles every day with this vehicle, are you using gas? Yes. Are you then filling the tank with things like the slide before with all following nature's laws? Not necessarily. So what you end up doing is draining your internal resistance, and you've been driving every day 30,000 miles, and then by the time you're 40, you feel awesome, right? I'm being sarcastic. So the distress from the outside world drained your tank to dry. I mean, by the time you're 40, you're coasting on fumes. And then you have hormonal imbalances and diabetes, breast cancer, I mean, you name it. Migraines, IBS, Crohn's, UC, I mean, the list goes on and on. That's what happens when your tank is going on fumes. So what I want to teach you guys is how to build your internal resistance, how to add gas to your tank every day, such that when life happens at you, because the last time I checked, life happens at everybody all day long, no matter what you're doing, life is still lifing at you, then this external stress doesn't drain your tank so much. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then how do we fill our tank? So one of the ways is we can support the organs of elimination. Now this fascinates me, okay? So these are the 4 organs, the 4 doors of the body. So the body was designed to know that we're going to be exposed to, lack of a better way of communicating this, but toxins. Like I don't really like using that word, but there's some level of junk that our body has to deal with every day. Both internal metabolism produces junk, and then external stuff. Air that we're breathing, stuff we're putting in our skin, things that we're putting in our mouth. Our body has to sort through that junk, and then let go of what it doesn't need, and then hold on to what it does need, right? The body knew that. There's 4 doors, 4 options that the body can get rid of stuff. The skin, which is our largest organ, the lungs through breath, the GI through feces, and the kidneys through urine. Now I want you guys to look at this. While the skin is our largest organ, who's the biggest detoxifier? The kidneys. This is surface area. So while the kidneys are the smallest, if you guys dissect a kidney, it's like, there's like all of these like squiggly wigglies in there that make the surface area of your kidneys so large in terms of their ability to detoxify. So what's really important to do every day? Drink fizz. And then the coolest thing about what happened that day with Argonne is that they use this analogy of the bathtub that I was taught in medical school. So imagine that you're a bathtub and then you have your 4 drains of the body, the 4 ways that you can get rid of the stuff. And because you're adding stuff every day, right? So you have the kidneys, the liver, the skin, the lung, and the GI and liver. And so the body was like, cool, you're adding stuff every day. We will totally let go of what we don't need and then hang on to what we do. That's balance. But assuming that, most Americans or Western societies are not supporting these organs of elimination through, probiotics through the GI and GI and liver, taking 100 conscious deep breaths a day with your lungs, putting non-toxic stuff on your skin and doing dry skin brushing, and then drinking half your body weight in ounces of water a day. Can you just assume that most humans are not doing all of that? Right, so then over a period of time, those drains get clogged, and then you get symptoms because your body's compensating and doing everything in its power to stay healthy, and yet you keep doing what you're doing, and the toxicity levels keep building up, and you experience headaches, joint pain, IBS, bloating, brain fog, anxiety, depression. I mean, the list will go on and on, right? That's just your body warning you. That's your body just going, pay attention, excuse me. And most of us just keep doing what we're doing, and we'll keep getting what we're getting, and we get dis-ease. Okay? And then, again, if you're listening, then the signs of toxicity are just everything that I listed: anxiety, depression, headaches, seasonal allergies, food allergies. If you suffer from any of these things, your body is talking to you. So then what do we do about that? How do we shift what we're doing into adding health? So between me and Arbonne, we mostly got you covered, right? And yes, the pun is definitely intended. Okay, so let's start with food. Before I found Arbonne, there was the original food pyramid, which I disagreed with. So my business partner and I came up with this plate on the right-hand side. This is what we found to add health to people's lives, right? So 50% of the plate is mostly vegetables and some fruit. Why does that not say fruit and vegetables? Because I want you to be eating them in the other order. I want more vegetables than fruit, because fruit is still sugar. Thank you. And then 25% of healthy meats, fats, proteins, and eggs. 15% of the plate is nuts, seeds, beans, and some gluten-free grains. And then 10% of the plate is the X factor, because the X factor is life, because life will happen at you. Creme brulee happens at you. Pizza parties happen at you. It becomes choice. I did this talk at MSU, Montana State University, to a bunch of kiddos, teenage girls. And we went over like what is health and who am I, blah, 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 and how do you add health? And then I had them fill out these index cards. And on the index cards, they were allowed to ask a couple questions. And so this one girl wrote, can I eat junk food? And I was reading all of these in front of the class and asking the class to participate, and we got to the junk food question. And I was like, this is a really awesome question. I was like, girls, can you eat junk food? And they were like, no, we can't eat junk food. And I was like, okay, whatever. You're just telling me what you think I want to hear. And I was like, I'm going to ask you again, can you eat junk food? And they said, well, yeah. And I was like, does it fit in your mouth? They were like, yeah. I was like, can you chew it? They were like, yes. Can you swallow it? Yep. Will it add health? And they were like, no, actually not. But I said, is it choice? Yes. So just getting really clear about, I don't necessarily want the X factor happening 3 times a day, but the X factor is life. And I really also want you guys to pay attention to the languaging we have around food. I should, blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. I'm cheating if this food's bad, this food's good. Like a broccoli sitting on the counter isn't like gooding or badding, it's just